Chris Scalzo here with
Briar Rabbit.
Matt Howell.
And this episode of the first run, we finally got to check out the hip horror film of the year so far, It Follows. A film initially destined to open up in a couple theaters, and then we'll do some video on demand too, right at the same time, to kind of build up a following. But you know what? No, this thing has blown up. This is kind of like a Blair Witch thing or a Paranormal Activity. People now seem to really be responding to this film. It's been expanding week by week into more and more theaters, and we finally got to check it out. We'll tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD, featuring Dave streaming for the week of that too, which is a pick that he'll talk about for this week. And then we have the fan favorite Call It section when we present options. You have to choose one, and the other one is gone forever, or whatever rules we decide to apply. So before we jump into all that, though, let's hear a clip from It Follows. And we can talk. So generally, in It Follows, there's a thing. And some other stuff.
I heard that about that.
And then there's the thing. Furious 7 this weekend, gentlemen. I hope you're excited.
Is that what we're doing this week?
Yeah. If that's all right with everybody involved. Matt, if you can see it. If you can't, that's fine.
Okay.
I was guilted into this. Nice, Matt. All right, not much longer. See, if you want to actually hear the clip, you got to download the podcast version of the show from iTunes and available on the website, thefirstrun.com. Then you get to hear all the fun clips, including the stinger that's at the end of every episode, which is always a lot of fun. So there's that. What'd you guys think of the Walking Dead finale?
I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither.
All right, 15 seconds. All right, so most horror films, right, whoever gets killed are the people that do it. That's why normally at summer camp or wherever, I would always be fine. But this film really takes that to the next level, right? Now we're talking about the curse itself is the act. So you sleep with somebody and they pass on this curse to you, whereas there's this being, this thing, that's going to continuously follow you until it gets you. It's always walking, no matter where you are, it's always walking towards you. Sounds like an interesting concept for a horror film, or maybe kind of boring, actually. I don't know. Let's think about that. So, gentlemen, It Follows. Lots of hype. It's supposed to be a great throwback horror film. Tell me what you thought. Dave, start us off. What do you think?
Well, it was okay. It was a horror movie. That's not really my thing. I did think that this one, the style of it was very interesting. It did provide some good scares. Ultimately, it kind of left me flat at the end, though, just because I wanted them to explore more of the way you pass it on and the decision to do so. I thought that was the most interesting thing about the movie, but they just didn't go deep enough into that aspect.
So you wanted the porn version?
No, I just wanted the decision. Okay, so the setup of this movie is somebody sleeps with you and then tells you, okay, I just fucked you really hard in multiple ways, because now not only
explicit tag,
now there's going to be something that's relentlessly chasing you, and if it finds you, it's going to kill you, and then if it kills you, it's going to come after me. So the best thing you can do here is pass this on. And I thought that was the most interesting part. It was a really interesting setup, but they explored it a little bit, but I thought that, her decision to kind of, what do I do with this? What do I do with this information? I think that could have been really fun to, expand upon, and a lot of the times I feel like it just kind of devolves into a regular old horror movie.
Interesting. I think I disagree with you entirely. Matt,
Okay.
What did you think?
I think I disagree with Dave entirely. I actually quite appreciated the fact that they didn't try and build up any mythology. It just kind of was this force that was after her, and there wasn't any scenes of them going to the library or fighting the local college professor to tell them all this kind of stuff about, whatever this was, some ancient
That's true.
Babylonian, demon or something. So, I mean, I really appreciated that. I thought it was really cool just the way they kind of just used tension to actually sell the movie. And it was, I mean, for me, it was very tense. I was kind of worried that going into this that I was going to be a little disappointed how much this was built up going in, but I wasn't. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact because I knew I had seen very little of it, and I think some of the new spots kind of give away some of the best parts of the film.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really felt that this was, for me, it was a great old school kind of horror film. It's creepy as all hell. Whenever people ask me, what do you think about it? That's the first thing that pops in my mind, is how creepy and unsettling the film is from start to finish. There's not a lot of real gore in this. Maybe in the beginning, there's a little bit. And even then, it's not really gory. It's more just a pop of violence right to the face. But outside of that, the whole thing is about mood and setting you up. I love just the whole concept of the thing. Like you said, Matt, I love that you never really get into it. There's never really any explanation from where this curse came from, what it is, and what its ultimate goal is, except just to kill you. One of the things I loved about it, too, there's a lot of weird things about this movie. And Matt, you picked up on them a little bit because we saw this together, and you grabbed my hand a couple times, which I thought was cute. But there's a real kind of sense of displacement in this film, right? You don't really know where they are, though they eventually reveal you're in Detroit. But still, it feels off the entire time. And what's really different, too, is like the time period. It's hard to really get a handle on when this is happening. I think like the one person whose phone or her reader was a makeup compact, right? And she's able to read stuff on it. I mean, there's a lot of weird, like, alternate dimension-y or out of time type feel to this thing that I think really added to it. I love the kind of designs to everything, the set designs and the locations. How a lot of times there's wide open shots, and all you're doing is scanning the horizon, looking everywhere, trying to find where the person is who's slowly walking towards them. And you think about it a little bit like, this is kind of stupid. I mean, just drive away. But eventually it's going to catch up with you, which it always seems to. So, I don't know. I felt to me like it was like a nightmare that came to life. Just more scary. I kind of like, because it's just kind of an inevitable thing that something's out there. You can't kind of put your finger on it, but it's just always out there in the ether. And I just feel like that's kind of, I've had nightmares like that, where just something's always wrong. You're never quite sure what it is. But it's always there. I don't know. I really, really liked it. Oh, and Dave, one of the things too, Matt, I pointed this out. Matt knew right away too. It's very heavy on the retro 80s synth, the music.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah.
It's. I guess what happened is they did some placeholders where they kind of did an homage to John Carpenter's stuff, and they went in to actually do the music for the film. They said, you know what, this is good as is. Let's just stick with this.
Nice.
I bought the score like the next day. I absolutely love it.
Did you really?
I did. I really like it. The same thing with the score for Maniac. It's the same thing.
I can see you driving down the street, bumping that out of the Volkswagen, really creeping out the kiddies.
What are you guys doing?
You want some candy?
Yeah. Where's the party tonight, guys?
So I'm really disappointed, Dave. I know horror is not your thing, but every now and then it still grabs you, like the Babadook you enjoyed. And I really feel, I think I like this more than the Babadook.
I'll tell you, like it was moody, it was scary. Everything you guys said about it was spot on. I don't like jump scares. Like I just don't get down with horror movies. So a horror movie has to bring something else to the table for me to really enjoy it. And this one had the premise for it, but didn't explore. I would have loved to see, her, try and like explore the options, like, wrestle with, do I want to doom somebody else to this fate? Do I not want to do it? But that stuff is all just kind of glossed over, and I thought it was probably the most interesting thing about the entire setup.
I don't know. I think there's a healthy amount of that. You don't want to slow this thing down to a crawl pace-wise just so you can watch her sit in her room and just ponder stuff. I think there definitely are moments where she really struggles with what she's going to do. You know, should she sleep with somebody, and then she pulls the trigger a couple times on that. Does she want to bring in the guy friend who's always been pining for her type thing? I don't know. And what do you guys think of the ending too? Do you think they're out of the woods, or does that little peek at the ending mean that stuff's not quite over?
I was like, that's how it ends? Okay, who cares? That's
Well,
what
I guess
thought of the ending.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the plan that they do to kind of pawn it off onto something else. I mean, depending on how quickly this thing reacts. I mean, I guess they could kill somebody who they pass it on to before they could do it again, and there it would be. What I don't get is, I'm just sitting here thinking about how, like, if this thing is only walking, right, and they go it's really far away in other parts of Michigan, and it takes days to get to her. Why don't you just like hop a plane and like go to California or
Thailand and find a sex worker and be done with this thing?
Swim? I mean, you could figure out that okay, I've got at least 6 months before this thing shows up again, and then just go from there.
Well, yeah, there is that, but I also wonder too, like, if you can close the loop. Can you, like you said, Matt, can you sleep with somebody and then kill them, and then does that close that loop? Or if she sleeps with the guy that gave it to her again, does that close it?
Right.
I don't know. Lots of different things.
I would just fly to Thailand, be done with it.
We already know why.
That thing's getting moved 100 times by the time you catch a plane back.
So what are you going to tell the kids at home there? Why don't we start with Max? I know, Dave, what you're going to say.
I really enjoyed it. I would definitely go out and check it out in the theater. If it comes to your town, definitely go check it out. It's great.
Dave, go ahead. Break my heart.
If you like horror movies, I'd probably recommend it. But if you're like me and have no love for the genre, I don't think there's much here for you.
I'm telling you, this is a must-see. If you're a fan of, just like even like Dave said, if you're a fan of horror films, this has got that old school feel to it. It's lean, it's mean, it's creepy as hell. It's at times terrifying, and I think you definitely need to check it out. If you've had a chance to see It Follows, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. And then we're going to transition nicely over to our Blu-ray and DVD picks. Some stuff coming out on April 7th. Let's see here. Let's everybody bear with me. Fighting a cold. Okay. A Most Violent Year, a film we did for the show that I really enjoyed. It's coming out, includes commentary by the writer and director, some behind-the-scenes featurettes and deleted scenes. Stars Oscar Isaacs and Jessica Chastain. Came out at the end of last year, kind of under the radar, but great performances around. You definitely should check it out. Marion Cotillard's film, The Immigrant, is being released on Blu-ray. Includes Joaquin Phoenix in the film. It was nominated for the Palme d'Or Prize at Cannes, so you can check that out. Includes commentary by the writer-director James Gray. The Voices. Did you guys hear the voices? I mean, of the movie? I know some of you hear voices.
No.
So this one stars Ryan Reynolds. He plays a guy named Jerry. He's a chipper guy clocking a 9-to-5 job at a bathtub factory with the offbeat charm of anyone who could use a few friends. With the help of his court-appointed psychiatrist, he pursues his office crush. However, the relationship takes a sudden murderous turn after she stands him up on a date. Guided by his evil talking cat and benevolent talking dog, Jerry must decide whether to keep striving for normalcy and indulge in a much more sinister path. I really wanted to see this, so I'm glad it's getting released. Includes some behind-the-scenes featurettes and deleted and extended scenes. Rec 4, if you're a fan of the Rec films, the Spanish horror films were not quite zombies. What is it, like a crazy rabies mutation? Either of you guys seen the Rec films?
No, I missed it.
Matt, you must have.
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
The second one I think is actually better. Third one, not quite so good. Well, this is the fourth one, supposedly the final one. And it takes place, it looks like, on a boat. So it's zombies on a boat. And then, new to Blu-ray, bunch of catalog titles getting released. Invaders from Mars, the 1986 version, which is horrible if you've ever seen it. Empire Records, Singles, Detroit Rock City, Sharky's Machine, and Hooper, a couple of Burt Reynolds classics. After the Sunset, The Corruptor, Breathless, the Richard Gere version, and then finally For the Boys. We're all being released on Blu-ray for the first time. I have a straight-to-DVD pick for you, gentlemen. It's called 108 Stitches. Stars Bruce Davison, and he leads a group of comedy innovators in the hilarious, which I think is getting ahead of themselves, 108 Stitches. Co-starring 2 winners of Last Comic Standing, Josh Blue and Dat Fan, as well as Larry Thomas, who played the Soup Nazi on Seinfeld. This college baseball romantic comedy hits a home run, with baseball being the last thing on the players' minds and dealing with one of the longest losing streaks in college history. The team of misfits comes to the realization that the school, led by the corrupt and unethical president of the university, has plans to disband the entire program. Hilarity ensues as they have one afternoon to execute a plan to fill the stadium, sign the top recruit on the planet, I should say, and then help send their coach out with a bang. Wink. I gotta tell you, I watched a trailer for this thing. You should check it out on YouTube. It's got everything you're looking for. It's got a cerebral palsy joke, some heavy-set girls manning a topless car wash, and Roger Clemens. I'm telling you, it's something you think you need to check out. So, Dave, what should we be streaming this weekend?
Atari, Game Over. Explore the demise of gaming giant Atari, along with claims that it hid its biggest flop, 1982's E.T., by burying the cartridges in the desert. This is actually a somewhat controversial documentary because they set it up like it was like a big secret that the E.T. cartridges got buried, but in fact, it's a well-known thing. Like, yeah, these things are in a... Yeah, but nonetheless, I actually enjoyed watching the history of Atari, especially the collapse, and I found it to be a rather enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of more like an urban legend, right? Not actually a secret.
No, it was reported on extensively in the 80s that 1 million cartridges had been buried in a landfill in Texas.
Now, is this the documentary where they actually dug up all the cartridges?
That's correct.
Okay. And what's that on? Where do I got to get that on?
Netflix.
Awesome. Man, a lot of cool stuff at Netflix recently. Did you see that?
No.
One of the big ones, too. Big Lebowski's now on there, too.
That was on there before, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know. Everybody seemed to be excited about it on Reddit, so who knows?
I wonder if it went on, then came off, and came back on again.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. It used to be on there.
Good times. So,
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any news of the day for us?
Sure. So I've got a few things going on. So, Chris, last week you will remember that in our, what was the game we played? Who Dat? We mentioned that Bruce Lee was going to be digitally inserted into Ip Man 3 as opposed to them actually hiring an actor to play him. Well, Bruce Lee's estate is suing Ip Man 3 to prevent that from happening. They feel that that they shouldn't, they shouldn't use his likeness, that they want to use him as a character in the movie. They should just hire an actor, and they were trying to block his inclusion.
Wait, but so they didn't even clear it with the estate first? They were just going to do it?
I guess so.
So, wait a minute. At first, I was like, yeah, they didn't even clear it. But wait a minute, it's not like they're using his voice, or they're just using, like, a computer-generated model that looks like him. What's the difference between using that and an actor to play him?
I don't know what the difference is. I guess just by the fact that it's going to be, I don't know if they're gonna use his real like soundbite snippets, or if they're going to just the fact that it's going to look exactly like him, that it's going to, I don't know, they view it as a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Something is creepy about it, but it's hard to put my finger on exactly what my problem is.
Yeah, we talked about it last week too. We ended up going off on a tangent of like bands we would see. Like I would see Queen with a Freddie Mercury hologram. I would do that. What about you, Dave? Is there anybody out there, any band you would see if they brought back a hologram of whoever the main guy was? You'd be on board. Like AC/DC with Bon Scott.
Would it be like the whole band, like back in the day, or would it be like the currently 70-year-old members of the band with one hologram?
The current versions. That's the playground we were playing.
Jimi Hendrix.
You see hologram Hendrix?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think I'd be on board for that. All right, what else, Matt?
All right, so it was announced today that against all odds, Deadpool will be a rated R film. For those of you who don't know, Deadpool is a mercenary, the merc with a mouth, and his comics are usually extremely violent and very ribald as far as the language goes. So, score one for the good guys.
Ribald for her pleasure.
Yes, exactly.
Ribald.
Ribald.
You're the reader. You probably know.
Well, the first time I ever heard the word, I heard
Ribald?
it as ribald, or ribaldry is the way I heard it used. So I believe it's ribald.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. But anyway, continue.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Chuck Palahniuk is the writer of Fight Club. He is actually going to write a Fight Club 2 comic.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, back up.
What?
I thought I still wanted to talk about this.
I'm sorry.
Did you see the announcement? How they made the announcement?
No, I did not.
What all right. So you present us an article, but you don't even bother to see how they made the announcement, which is hilarious, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and check it out. It's Mario Lopez interviewing Ryan Reynolds on the set of the film, and they're talking like a normal extra interview, and they're all excited and like, yeah, it's great to be back in Vancouver. It's where I'm from. Got to see my brothers. And you have an announcement. Oh yeah, the film's going to be PG-13. Oh really? Yeah. Well, he wanted to make it kind of family friendly. Anyway, while they're having the conversation, Deadpool walks behind Mario Lopez, and then basically beats him to death. I think with an air conditioner, or I can't remember what it is. Maybe a light. And says, "F you, Slater." And then there's some other hilariousness. So it is well worth checking it out.
Well, I did actually see that yesterday, smartass, but today it was actually confirmed that it is true. So there.
What, you were concerned it was an April Fool's thing?
No, it was just that they never confirmed in that clip that it was going to be rated R. They were just saying that he's trying to make it be a rated R movie.
Oh, because I thought at the end of the clip, Ryan Reynolds does say, or Deadpool says, that of course the movie's rated R.
No, he says, rest in peace, Mario Lopez, and he says something about Kelly Kapowski, that he'll come and see her.
Oh, well, the clip I saw was different. The clip I saw was different because he's holding a picture, I think, of supposed to be Slater, but it's like a stick figure, and he goes, "Don't worry, whatever. What's her name? Not Kelly Kapowski, but what was the one that was in Showgirls? Elizabeth Berkley, whatever her name was. Jesse.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't worry, Jesse. He can't hurt you anymore." He crumbles up the paper and drops it.
So there you go.
What was I going to say about that? I don't know. What else? Dave, do you have any interest in seeing that? I know you're not a big superhero guy, but what do you think?
Yeah, but this one looks kind of funny. It looks like it's going to be an ultra-violent and kind of ribbled.
I love ribbled movies. I think that's great.
All right.
Sorry, so go ahead. What were you going to go on next?
The last one here was basically that Chuck Palahniuk, who wrote Fight Club, he's actually writing a Fight Club 2 comic book. It's coming out May 27th, and it's going to be 10 issues. Think they'll actually make that into a sequel?
How do you?
I have no idea. There's no information really on it about the plot or anything like that. It's just that it's coming out next month.
Now, I'm at a disadvantage. I haven't read the original book. I've just seen the film.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens at the end? I don't remember now. Is Edward Norton A-okay at the end of that? That's right, yeah, because they watch all the buildings blow up. And that's how it ends, right?
Yeah, so in the book, it ends, he's actually in an institution, and there are members of Project Mayhem are actually working in the institution, so it's implied that they're going to get him out.
Ooh, does Bob Bitch-Tits die in the book?
Yes, he is shot.
Poor Bob.
That's too bad.
Poor Bob.
That's too bad. I don't know. I don't. You know what? I'm not gonna get it. I don't
what?
think so.
The comic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't either. But who knows? Maybe if it comes out and everybody says it's really great, maybe I'll have to give it a chance.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do we know who the artist is?
Hold please.
In the meantime, Dave, would you be interested in seeing a Fight Club sequel, or are we better leaving that alone?
I have no idea what they would do with it. I guess I would check it out just based on how much I enjoyed the first movie, but I wouldn't have high hopes for its quality.
Interesting.
Artist is Cameron Stewart.
I think I know him. Not personally, but I know his work. All right, interesting.
Well, at least it's written by Poliniak, so that's at least something, right?
That's a good point. It's not like Who's Really Bad. I don't know. It's like Rob Liefeld to do a little Deadpool callback.
There you go.
It's on the property.
That's right.
Man, that guy's finally going to get a payoff, huh? If that Deadpool movie's big?
Yeah. Did he create Deadpool?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I believe so.
Well, that's just a crime against humanity.
All right. So let's just jump into Call It then. This is one of my favorite segments when we present options to each other. And now, granted, the rules and parameters can change, but the basic conceit of the game is that you choose one thing or the other, and the other thing is gone forever, no matter what it is. Maybe it's an old film, one of your favorites, and you can never watch it, and it never existed. Or, whatever the hell you want to do. All right, I got a bunch, and I'm not quite sure, so I'll start off, and then we can move around. We start everything off here with best, I think. Well, what's the better modern horror film? I'm really right now high on It Follows. So, would you prefer It Follows or House of the Devil, which is, I think, a film we really enjoyed?
Remind me about House of the Devil.
That's the Ty West film. It's set in the 80s, and the young girl who is asked to babysit the first thinks is a child and finds out it's an older woman, and there's actually a satanic cult there who's going to try and sacrifice her.
Don't forget the pizza.
That's right, and the pizza guy. It's on Netflix, Dave. I don't know if you'd seen it, actually.
I think we did it for the show.
We did. I just don't know if you were here then. And you know what it was? I think Beastly had recommended that you see it because he loved it and asked us if we'd talk about it. And then I said, you got to go check out the archive when we actually did.
I'll stick with It Follows.
Bold pick, since you're not sure if you've seen it. But, Matt, I know you've seen both.
Yes, I have seen
We were
both.
both huge fans of House of the Devil.
Yes.
Because it's not only was it made recently, but it feels like it's 1985 watching the film, And during the height of the Satanism scare, I remember being a young kid watching Spotlight or HBO, whatever the hell it was, and there being one of those documentaries on the rise of Satanism in the United States, which is all BS. But I remember it was a real scare back then.
Oh, yeah. People were terrified.
So they were putting razors in chocolate bars.
Right?
That was fake, too. Come on,
What?
Yes! Blowed your mind. You know what? I really liked House of the Devil a lot, and I'm thinking about it, of all the little pieces that I like. But I think I would go with It Follows, just because it was a lot more tense. It had a lot more suspense to it, and it was just it was more relentless. So I guess as a horror movie, I think I like that better.
That's an interesting point too, because one of the things about House of the Devil is that it's a slow burn, and it's effective, but it is a slow burn, and when it kind of kicks you in the butt, it finally does, and it's absolutely terrifying. So if I had to choose between one of those two, that's tough for me, because I love all the things about House of the Devil. The slow burn, the 80s quality of it, but I really liked it. Man, I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards It Follows, because it really grabs that synth score is so freaking good. And so I think right now I'd have to say It Follows, but I bet you if I watch House of the Devil next week, I might change my mind. But since I'm a man who is very bad at choices and commitment, I'll still stick with it. I'll say It Follows. What the hell?
Very good. Very good.
Sorry, Ty. We're still a fan of your work.
Sort of. I don't know about that Lena Dunham movie that was filmed in Torrington.
Oh, Innkeepers?
The Innkeepers.
All right, who's next? Dave.
All right, I'll go. So here's the situation, right? You get not only the movie itself, but every piece of art that has been spawned by the original idea is off the table if you choose it, right? So it's an either or, Predator or Terminator. That includes, like, if you were to choose Predator, it includes you lose Predator, Predator 2, the Predator vs. Alien movies, all the Predator
That's fine with me.
novels, all that stuff.
Oh, did you hear too? Remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about they announced Jason Voorhees was in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Predator is coming, yeah.
And we kept saying that Predator is a much more natural fit.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, like 2 days later.
Done.
They listen to us. That's the kind of power this show has. All right, for me, this is indeed a decision. I would be devastated by losing Arnold as Dutch in the manliest handshake in the history of cinema with him and Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
But I gotta go Terminator. I have to keep that because plus I still get Schwarzenegger. Granted, I get a couple subpar movies afterwards, but Terminator and Terminator 2, and that whole exoskeleton robot thing, I can't pass that up. I gotta keep it.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm with Chris on this one. I think it's an easy choice. As much as I would miss Get to the Choppa as a cultural touchstone, I think I gotta go with Terminator.
Yeah, you're actually probably doing the world an overall good thing by getting rid of the Predator vs. Alien movies.
Yeah, I think future generations would thank us, but even though they wouldn't know what they were thanking us.
All right, Matt, you next.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks from the start of the summer movie season with Avengers: Age of Ultron, which I believe comes out on May 1st. So, guys, I'm going to list down 3 sets of the biggest summer movies, or at least summer movies of 2015, because I'm cheating a little bit. And sight unseen, you have to pick which one you're going to keep and which one you're going to toss. All right?
Okay.
Here we go. Ant-Man or Fantastic Four?
Can I toss them both?
Yeah, go.
Pick one.
Can I holster one of those to apply it to a future call-it session that you're about to give me?
Okay. Well, then that question was not answered. For the record, I will keep Ant-Man.
I'll keep
Fantastic Four
Ant-Man
was out.
too because at least that's something new. Fantastic Four has a history of sucking.
Yeah. And Ant-Man's an official Marvel film, unlike the Fantastic Four ones. And it's got Paul Rudd. So I would do Ant-Man as well.
All right. Second, Minions, the spinoff of the Despicable Me movies, or Inside Out, the new Pixar film.
I'm keeping Inside Out, Pixar movie.
Same with me. I haven't seen any of the Despicable Me films either, and we all know my affection for Pixar, so that's easy.
Which one do you think is going to make more money?
Minions has the luck of being a sequel.
Yeah.
But and
Pixar movies are gold, though.
Yeah, but this one doesn't have like a Wall-E, right? It's just all the organisms in your body,
Oh, yeah?
or it's all the different things. I don't know. This is tough. I really think that all the Pixar movies that have come out lately, minus the horrible Cars, Planes sequel debacles, the Ribbleds. I really think this Pixar film has a chance of not doing great because I think conceptually some kids might not get into it.
It is pretty high concept.
So if I had to choose which one would make more, I have to stick with what I believe, and I'd probably go with the Invincible Me ones, whatever they're called.
All right. And the last one. This is a real Sophie's choice here, or at least it would be for me. Avengers: Age of Ultron, or skipping to the very end of the year, Star Wars Episode 7.
That's actually
Rid of Avengers. No-brainer.
Yeah, my question is similar to this. One of them was what's going to be the better blockbuster? Not which one I want to see more, but which one in the end will be better.
The one that'll be better is I have a feeling is going to be Avengers.
I have a feeling it's going to be Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Star Wars, sorry.
Star Wars, yes.
Is it just because you heard Idris Elba was cast as the bad guy and Simon Pegg is writing Star Trek 3?
Is that true?
Yes,
it is true.
It is true.
Damn.
Man, all right, so I got to answer your question first. If I could only see one of those?
Yeah, one of them goes away forever.
I think I got to go. I got to get rid of the Avengers. I think
Really? Bye.
I can't. I think what Abrams did with Star Trek, and you're going to give him the Star Wars franchise, I don't think I can't not see that. I can't. I think the little kid in me, see, Avengers doesn't have the hooks in me that Star Wars does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which one will be the better blockbuster? for all of its bluster and noise, Avengers is really good. And I feel like the second film is going to be better. But I think the first film, in the end, is still kind of hollow. You know?
I would agree with that.
So, I gotta... So which one's going to be better? I'm trusting Abrams. I'm going to go Force Awakens for that as well.
Well, I think you both are hideously wrong. I know I've been on record multiple times saying that I had a lot of fun with the Avengers. I think I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon. I think he's a pretty proven commodity as far as being able to write movies, whereas J.J. Abrams has had a very spotty track record at best, and I was burned so hard by those three prequels that a lot of my good faith for these movies is just at an all-time low. Those are just terrible movies, and even watching I've caught a few episodes of Rebels, I've caught a few episodes of Clone Wars. You know what? I mean, Star Wars has always been kind of a kid's movie. I watched the first ones when I was a kid, but I'm not a kid anymore. And they just don't hold as much for it. Whereas I understand that Avengers is still a kid's movie, but at least it has a much more of a sense of fun to it.
I think it's a fair argument, to be honest with you. I think that's... Yeah, you're still going to be wrong. All right. So
we'll at least see him in 4 weeks, right?
Yes, we will. Going forward, what comic series would you rather stick with? Marvel's, which is a pretty proven commodity at this point, or would you rather stick with DC's?
Oh my God, I have the exact same question right here.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. So if I could get rid of one and keep the other, I would get rid of DC in a heartbeat. I was never a fan of DC's, I think, comics. I don't like their kind of Gods Among Us type.
Wait, are we doing comics or movies based on the comics?
The movies.
All right, and do we lose the back catalog?
Yes.
I'd still have to go with DC.
I was thinking going forward, though, too. I wasn't retroactively applying it.
So no more Batman ever?
Yeah, if we're doing retroactively, I'm going to say get rid of Marvel. Because I think those Batman movies are some of the best movies. Those last three were some of the best comic book movies that have ever happened. And I still like the old Christopher Reeve Superman movies more than any of the Marvel movies.
That's true. I would put The Dark Knight and Christopher Reeve's first Superman film still at the height of the superhero pantheon for me. And I don't think a single Marvel film has been as good as either of those for me.
No. Going forward, though, if we were just to start from today and move forward, I would probably go with Marvel. I would keep Marvel because DC doesn't really have... They haven't shown me anything that really gets me excited since the Christopher Nolan movies. Marvel really does either.
That's the thing. I mean, it's...
I get to keep the Guardians of the Galaxy, too. That's
true, yeah. You got Guardians and Captain America and Winter Soldier. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be that upset if I lost Avengers. I wouldn't be. No. So I'd probably have... And I think I'm weighing too much with my DC fandom. I just think the DC characters there's just more there to mine. And a lot of the Marvel stuff kind of always, too, will just bit off of DC, but just kind of hip them up for a younger generation. But Superman. I mean, come on.
Superman's boring. You can't tell any Superman stories. I read All-Star Superman because it was supposed to be so great, and it was like, this is stupid. It's the same shit. He's invincible. He can do anything. Who gives a crap?
But what about that Truth, Justice, and the American Way comic they did? That one, with, I can't remember who did it. They kind of reinvigorated Superman and why he's still relevant.
I never read it. I mean, honestly, I like Batman, but you could literally get rid of any other DC character, and I wouldn't miss it at all.
Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest right now. I think that if I'm being honest with myself, I was disappointed with Man of Steel. And if that's going to be the tone and tenor, and that's how the DC movies are going to be going forward, I would rather stick with Marvel. I'd rather get a Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd rather see Marvel do something with Spider-Man. I would rather see that stuff than get another dour superhero film. That's not any fun. If that's what I'm going to get, I don't want it.
There you go. This is all still stemming back. Your Avengers hate is, I'm still convinced that it stems back to you and me arguing over, you were trying to argue so hard that Dark Knight Rises was a superior film.
Yo, it is.
And it was a huge disappointment.
That
It's a
was
mess. It's a huge disappointing mess. At least Adventures is fun.
Because you can't look at Dark Knight Rises as a sequel to The Dark Knight. You got to look at it as the conclusion to the series.
Yeah,
what,
who would do that? Not like they put a 3 on it or anything. That would make it a sequel.
That's
Just
right. And
because
they
it's
did.
the same characters coming out right afterward.
Listen,
That
the
doesn't
word
make it a sequel.
Rises in no way resembles a 3.
And it doesn't. It's not even like it says Dark Knight with like colon another title.
Well, you know what? I can watch the Avengers and have fun with it, as opposed to watching the Dark Knight Rises and saying, "What the is this?"
But the Dark Knight, the first.
No, you can't say.
Trilogy, I think, is one of the best movies to come out in the last 10 years.
See, and this is what irritates me about the Dark Knight. I mean, that whole Batman trilogy. If you're really being honest with yourself, Batman Begins is only okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
And Dark Knight Rises
No, Matt's
is
right.
probably even less than that. The only reason you
The third one was the weakest, but
you raise it up so high is because Dark Knight is so good.
it is so good though.
But just that doesn't make the rest of everything around it better.
My problem.
But it does make it the best comic book movie ever made.
Maybe.
My problem with Nolan's Batman films is I think each one of them, the endings aren't very strong. You know, the end of Batman Begins with the chasing the subway car as it's blowing up all the water, or making it evaporate, and then that's not that good. The ending of The Dark Knight with the boat, going to blow up, the two boats are going to blow each other up. I'm sorry, that's not that good. And then same thing with The Dark Knight Rises. I really feel the endings of them aren't as good. I think what would nail The Dark Knight Rising ending is if he actually died. I think that would have been better. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah.
Whose question is it? My turn?
Yeah, we went on a tangent on that one.
All right. So I lost that question, so I'm moving on to my next question, which I actually just wrote. Because I just found out there's a new Star Trek movie coming out. So which would you rather have? The new Star Trek movies or the new Star Wars movies? So I'm not talking about the prequels. I'm just talking about Star Wars movies moving on from here. But when I talk about new Star Trek movies, I'm talking about the last 2 Star Trek movies and possibly the next one.
Well, Dave, one of my many secret shames that I wasn't until recently old enough to just go with is that I really like Star Trek. And I really like Star Wars too, but Abrams' movies are not really Star Trek-y. They're kind of fun to watch with the big space battles and stuff, but they're not that good. I mean, the stories are not that good. The acting is kind of hokey in some parts. I don't know why they felt the need to basically kind of redo Wrath of Khan. I don't see what the purpose of that was, but he's been on record saying that he loves Star Wars, where he didn't really watch Star Trek and didn't really get it before. So I guess I'm going to go with Star Wars because I don't think we would lose a whole lot by getting rid of the Star Trek movies, as much as I enjoyed them.
This is tough for me because I was always more of a Star Trek guy, but I think it's mostly because of Shatner. I think Star Trek 2 is one of my all-time favorite films.
Wait. Can you might be literally the only person in the history of the world that said that Shatner was the main reason that I liked Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm the only person that Shatner has any kind of following whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right.
But go ahead.
Did they give the Priceline commercials to DeForest Kelley? No. Does Mark Hamill do Priceline commercials? Did he have a show?
Well, I think that's probably more from playing Denny
James Spader?
Crane or T.J. Hooker than playing Captain Kirk.
Fine. Let's
Yes, because that's what everybody remembers is T.J. Hooker.
They remember Denny Crane from Boston Legal.
That's right. So did Mark Hamill get to play a tough, no-nonsense sergeant in the LAPD?
No, he got Corvette Summer, and everybody said, fuck off after that.
Well, there was a guy called Harrison Ford who did pretty well for himself. I don't know if you've heard of some of his stuff.
All I know is that he's a horrible pilot. This is just, I don't know. It's just tough for me, because I was always, as I said, more of a Star Trek guy. And you should be happy to know, Matt, that Simon Pegg, since he's helping write the third film, has said that they're going to return to more the feel of what the original show was like. That's the goal for the next film.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish my answer is kind of based off of what this next film is going to be like. If Abrams, who's the bed, then I'm out. You know, I don't know if I can handle that kind of disappointment again. But man, I don't know. It's just the Star Wars mythos, when you don't screw with it, is a lot more interesting and more fun. But the stuff with Star Trek, I don't know. I want to. If I could get 1980s Kirk Star Trek back again, I wouldn't think twice about it. I wouldn't. But I know that's not really an option. So, I don't know. I guess I gotta go Star Wars, though it pains me. Yeah, I guess so. Because I can't have what I want from Star Trek, so. What about you, Dave?
I mean, I gotta go Star Wars. I really want to see these next movies, even though I was so disappointed by the prequels. Like, I'm really looking forward to what he's got in store for us with this. And not, Star Wars is near and dear to my heart. Star Trek, I love Star Trek, but Star Wars is just something different for me.
And I used to love Star Wars so much. I cannot even tell you how badly those prequels have soured it for me.
Yeah. I wonder if they can pull us back. Can they make you forget? Can they be that good?
I think he can. I think Abrams can do that.
At least now that it's out of Lucas's hand, hopefully they can just kind of bury the prequels and just pretend they didn't happen.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Matt, what do you got?
All right, so make a choice. Out of the upcoming Ghostbusters, would you rather have the all-female version or the Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum guy version that they were talking about? All right.
Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum doing a comedy together, I could see that working really well.
I'm assuming Jonah Hill is going to be in this at some point?
Probably. He'll probably have a cameo somewhere. He might be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something.
Ouch.
Ooh, dang it, Hill. Burn. Wow. I don't know. I don't want to seem sexist. Who's directing the boy version?
I don't think they have a director yet. But Paul
Feig.
Paul Feig, yes, thank you, is directing the all-girl version. So he's
both
worked
of these
with
movies are actually happening.
Matt.
So the fell out again.
So yes, Matt. He asked you, are both of these are actually happening?
Yes. Both of them are happening. The girl all-female one is, I think it's in pre-production. They've got all the casts and everything. The other one is just based off of a pitch that Channing Tatum and I'm just drawing a blank. Who's the other guy? Even though I just said it.
Chris Pratt.
Yes, Chris Pratt. Thank you. We're interested in doing it. They've been pitching it to Sony, and Sony said, "Yeah, we're going to do this," but nothing's written yet.
I really like Kate McKinnon though. I like the cast.
But Melissa McCarthy,
man,
and Kristen Wiig.
I like those people. They're funny.
They're very hit or miss for me.
Just to be contrary to Dave, I'm going to say the female version because I'd like to see both. I don't have an issue with either one, so I'll say that one. What about so Matt? You break the tie.
I would have to go with the Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum version, just because I'm not a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy and what what she's done with Phage in the past. I think kind of that shtick gets old real fast for me, and I just don't think it can support another movie.
What are you talking about? Tammy was one of the funniest films of the past, 10 minutes?
Yeah, the Heat was great, too.
There's like 3 funnier movies in the last 10 minutes.
That's probably true.
It Follows, hilarious.
All right, I got a tough one for you, Ray.
Yeah.
Which crew do you want to stick around? The other one never happened. Judd Apatow and his people, or Will Ferrell and Adam McKay and his people. And I will grant you get to keep Paul Rudd, because he kind of crosses the streams. So as we're talking about, Judd Apatow, 40-year-old virgin, knocked up. This is the end. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, all gone. Or Anchorman, the other guys, Eastbound and Down. Who do you want to keep around?
The world in which Eastbound and Down and Anchorman don't exist is not a world I want to live in.
Easy enough, Matt.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Dave on this one. I couldn't live without Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. That is just I have to have a world with Sex Panther in it. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, that was my response too. Actually, I think I needed to have Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, even for all kind of their stumbles every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I just there's always so much more potential for me. And I got to be honest with you, Judd Apatow, those last couple films, have not really worked for me. So I would have to go Will and McKay.
40-year-old virgin was hilarious.
Yeah, but the end
was pretty good.
It was
Superbad. You're losing Superbad.
Good. Yeah, that was funny.
That's the thing. You're losing Seth Rogen films too. You're losing Jonah Hill. I mean, you're losing all that stuff.
That's tough, man. But I still got to keep
Anchorman.
Yeah, I got to keep Anchorman.
Yeah, Eastbound and Down.
And McBride has a little crossover between the two of them, but since McKay and Farrell discovered McBride, I'll put him in that camp.
There you go.
Anybody else have any other ones?
I don't.
Nope.
All right, I have one just for Dave quickly. Royal Tenenbaums or the rest of Wes Anderson's work?
Royal Tenenbaums.
Wow, really? You would?
Yeah, I can just watch that movie. That could be it. That could be the movie.
I think that's the right answer.
People say, you want to watch a movie? I say, yes, please. I will watch that again.
That is a ribald choice. I have another director one, but I'm going to pocket it for next time so we can wrap this up. My final one here is I always give you 2 classic films, one or the other. Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Blazing Saddles?
Oh, it's got to be Monty Python.
Man, that is tough. Those are both man, cause it might take me to next week to decide.
I'd probably have to go Holy Grail myself.
You would pick Holy Grail?
But man, Blazing
Saddles is so good though. Part of the problem is that I haven't seen these movies in a long time. But now I have to fix that. I'll go with Blazing Saddles just to be different.
All right, there you go. I think that's fine. So if you had some call-it segments, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com and really answer that question, Holy Grail or Blazing Saddles. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to play what's coming up next week. So take a listen. So Furious 7. It's supposed to be really good.
Is it? Yeah. I heard one headline described it as the best and the stupidest entry in the Furious.
That's exactly what I want out of it.
That works for me.
Yeah. Oh, and just for the record, I looked up how to pronounce ribald, and I am right.
Oh,
I am right. Not. Yes, I am. According to the Cambridge English Dictionary, I am correct.
I have never in my entire life heard anybody say ribald. I've always heard ribald.
Well, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Did you guys see The Rock on Saturday Night Live? Funniest
No,
episode of the season, hands down. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I heard it was really good. Man, next
Ready?
week is
Here
a
we
big.
go. So that's next week. We're doing. I say stop talking because we're coming back. And there you go. So Furious 7, as it says in Saturday Night Live, that Dwayne Johnson is franchise Viagra. We will see if that remains true.
Finally, the follow-up to Tokyo Drift. I have been waiting for this movie for 10 years.
Congratulations. I did a presentation at work. Matt was there. And one of the things I said was, back in a simpler time when the Fast and Furious movies were still considered just a joke.
That was good. That was fun.
Still
I
kind
didn't
of
like
a
that
joke. Now everybody loves them.
one.
I
Yeah.
guess so, but
More hilarious.
after Tokyo Drift, you would never have thought that this franchise would be bigger now than it ever was.
No, you definitely wouldn't have.
So, as always, shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Watch the live stream of this show on YouTube. Just do a search for The First Run. Dave, what's going on at the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube nowadays?
Oh, man. I have been playing this game called Bloodborne. You guys heard about this?
I
Yes.
heard it's like nigh impossible.
It's not impossible. It's hard, though. Like, real hard. You remember, like, the NES games that you used to play? That if you played all the way through it, it would have taken you, like, an hour, so they had to make it insanely difficult, so you had to keep playing it over and over again. It's a little bit like that, but with, like, beautiful graphics, a world that is just... It's gorgeous. It's set in, like, this, like, fake, gothic... I don't know, London, but it's, like, way more gothic than London, and... There's just beautiful monsters like all around, and the combat is super deliberate, and you get all sorts of cool weapons. There's a cane, right, that turns into a whip, and there's a sword, and you carry a tombstone on your back, and you stick the sword into the tombstone and use it as a fucking hammer. It's cool. Like, the cool factor of this game is dripping all over it, but its difficulty curve is rough. It's kind of like, poking needles in your eye for a couple hours straight. But you enjoy it. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played the Dark Souls games, which is by the same guy. And
Yeah.
Those have always had extreme difficulty. And that was really the whole point, is that, it's supposed to be hard to fight these monsters, know how good you are, and you die a lot. So yeah, it's kind of an exercise of masochism that you like, but I have not played Bloodborne at this point.
I will say this though, like for the first hour, it was like really hard, but as you get better at the game, like you start moving along at a much faster pace. Like it doesn't seem as difficult as it did at the beginning.
And for me, with gaming, I finally downloaded some DLC for Borderlands 2. I'll show you how far behind I am with everybody. Which is Tiny Tina's kind of Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, if I was talking about this 3 years ago, people would actually care.
Well, actually, Borderlands 2 just came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like a remake version.
Yeah, the Handsome Collection. It's got the prequel and Borderlands 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The pre-sequel.
There it is.
Yep.
That's it. That's the big show for this week. We're going to take an extended... Oh, Matt, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
Yeah, so it's a big TV week. Daredevil comes out next Friday on Netflix, and very exciting for me, Game of Thrones starts next Sunday, the 12th. So very
Wait,
big
Daredevil
TV week.
with Ben Affleck?
No, Daredevil with, I forget his name, but it's the the shared universe that they've got going on with Netflix. The first series is coming out.
The shared universe they have going on with Netflix.
With Marvel. It's
With
actually
Marvel.
part of the Marvel group, but it's a
Yeah.
TV show on Netflix.
So is it going to be like a tie-in with the movies?
It's in the same universe, but they're doing 4 what they call street-level hero shows, and Daredevil is the first one.
And it's going to be like a Netflix show where it all comes out at once?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be good?
It looks really good. The previews look really good.
All right.
And did you hear, too, Bob Odenkirk and David Cross are getting together for, 4 or 5 episodes on Netflix for a sketch show? So if you liked Mr. Show back in the
loved
day,
Mr.
which I
Show.
loved, they're doing a show in between the tapings of Better Call Saul. When he's on hiatus, he'll be doing this for Netflix, which is
Nice.
That is amazing. That's the best news I've heard all day.
It's about...
So there you go. All right, that's the big show for this week. We'll take an extended break, and we'll see you all in a week.
See you next week.
Bye.
All right, gentlemen.